before. The time is 6 p.m. and we are in the MRUSD Central Office. The first item on the agenda is the agenda review. Any revisions needed for this agenda? Hearing none, the agenda is accepted without objection. Next item on the agenda is the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Please join me. The pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next question on the agenda, do we have any visitors in the room that wish to address the board?
No visitors in person or online, Hilda.
Okay. Thank you. Then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Are there any revisions required to the consent agenda, which only has the minutes of June 26th? Hearing none, the consent agenda is accepted without objection. Next item is reports to the board. First item is the student board representative report. We're not going to have one of those tonight because they're on school break, summer break. And then the second part, reports to the board, is the board forum to develop a mission and vision. We talked a little bit about this at the last meeting, and I think I'm going to turn it over to Bill so he can talk us through the process.
Yeah, no, great. So what I want to do is have us work. The reason we have the tables this way is, as for those of you who have been part of the listening sessions, we use in small groups tables. So usually this will work well with like groups of 4 or 5. So maybe, Nikuma, I'll have you go back with Becky, and Aaron can join with you back there to that back table. And then we're going to put Nilda on Zoom with Susie and Marianne and John, and then we'll keep that table the way it is right now. And what we're going to do is, I want to go through a process that I've used several times for creating a mission and vision, especially when we have all this community feedback. We have tons of community feedback. So usually if you're going to do a mission and vision, and I think Charlie's coming in right now, so we'll do a little pausing for that. But as we have all this feedback, if we didn't have this feedback, we want to go back to the community. We talked about that at the last meeting. Hey, Charlie. Since we do have all this, and we have all the information, there's really a process that I've used with teams pretty quickly when you have the information of kind of what's the purpose of your organization, and what you're trying to achieve, what are the goals you're trying to achieve to create a mission and vision. So I'm going to try to lead us through that. It may take us up to about an hour. I'm hoping not an hour, but we'll see how it goes. And it's really kind of flexible on all of you. Tonight does not have to be perfect. There's a saying that don't let the perfect get in the way of the good. You just don't wordsmith. Just get down what you think the big ideas are. We'll get into our next meeting in August to look at wordsmithing. And you might appoint 1 or 2 people to look at that and bring it back in August. But don't be fearful. Get the big ideas down. Okay? That's my big encouragement. It's like don't worry about the little words and exactly do we have them in the right order, or maybe there's a better word for that than this. Get the ideas down. Okay? So I hope that we can all kind of embark in that spirit. And then John, if you can put up or I don't know who you or Aaron are doing this. If you can put up the PowerPoint. I had a couple of things that I wanted to go through with everyone before we got going, just so I had some vocabulary checks. And the supporting work. So great. And then I've already done this. You can go to the next slide. So we have all this information. You had it, for board members, you had it in your packet around the listening sessions. You've seen it 2 years ago, the summary from the community conversations from all that work that went on. And I think what we have on the table is a good representation of that work, so I don't feel like you have to have that in front of you tonight. The goals and the supporting statements, those are on the table with the theories of action, and then we have from the strategic plan, the goal statements and the theories of action are also on the table. So you see 2 pieces of paper of the 3. One that looks like this, that has the goals and the goal statements, okay? So if I say pick up the goal page with goal statements, we're gonna do something with this piece of paper. That's what you're gonna get. And if you wanna read the theories of action that came out of the strategic plan to have a little more detail about each of them, they're here. But there's a lot, and if I say pick up the worksheet for tonight, it's the stapled sheet that's on the table. Okay? I didn't give these fancy titles, so I hope you're all okay with that. I was more about getting the work done than the fancy titles of everything. There should be enough copies on the table for all that. Knowing Aaron and how they set everything up, I see there's pens, there's all sorts of things there. Okay? So if we can go to the next slide, John. A little bit of vocabulary for tonight, okay? A vision. A vision is what we want to see the organization be. What do we want it to be? Okay, that's what we're trying to develop. Try to develop 2 things, a vision and a mission. And a mission is what's our work? What is the work to make the vision happen? Like, how are we going to do the work to make that come about? There may be some what in that, like what is it or how is it? It can be a combination of how or what in the mission, okay? In the mission, it's going to say, what's the primary purpose of the organization? We're going to ask you all to think about that. Not what are all the purposes, what's the #1 purpose of Maple Run? And then, who's our primary customer? Sorry I'm using business terms, but this stuff for education organizations and business and leadership, this all is combined. It's really the same thing. So who do we serve? Who's our primary customers? There's many secondary customers. I could probably not finish a list of secondary customers. Who's our primary? Okay? So when I use those 3 words in a phrase, are we all good with understanding what I mean if I use those? Okay? Because we're going to use those a lot tonight. Okay. All right. So, just wanted to, I think you all have this, but I thought it was good to set the context for the table. Why are we doing this? We have done work on the goals, the strategic plan, and we have what we love, when we use acronyms, and I always pick on John for this, but is our OKRs, which is our objective key results and success measures, and we do that yearly. If we were in another school district, it might be called the yearly continuous improvement plan. Some districts just call it the yearly action plan. We here have had to name it something else, so we just go with object. And there was a good reason, because there was some stigma with those old names. So we were trying to get out of that stigma from people within inside the organization. So we have these bottom 3, but what we're here tonight, and you all said at your past couple of meetings, we don't have a mission or vision to line up with those goals. So that's the work we're here to do tonight, based on all the community feedback, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Because that vision is really the North Star. What are we driving for? And the mission is how we drive to get there. Okay, so we're going to get into the work right now. So take a copy of the goal sheet, take a copy of the worksheet, and take a copy of the goals and the theories of action. Okay, each of you have a copy of that. And what I want you, John, if you can go to the next slide. We're going to talk about a purpose. Before we create a mission and vision, what's the purpose of Maple Run? So what I want you to do, even though you may know these by heart, is to read these all over for a minute. The goals and the theory of action really are the summary of all those listening sessions and all that strategic planning work. So just let's take like 3 minutes just to have a chance to read that, okay? And I'm going to take us down through the steps of that, all right? But read that for a minute. And John, I'm going to move this over to you. What we're going to do, John, we go into table discussions, is we'll mute the mic up here, and you can use this, unless it's easier to do it right off your laptop.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I hadn't thought of that, but that will really work. And when you've read those and you feel like I got it, Bill, just give me a thumbs up or look at me. That way I kind of know that people have had the time to do that.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah. And if you had a chance to read those pieces, read the, on the worksheet is the current mission that's up on the wall, and the board's moral imperative, which the board developed, I want to say like 2.5 years ago. Joanna, do you remember when we did that?
Sorry.
We did the moral imperative. Was that 2.5 years ago? It was one of the retreats it came out of.
That sounds about right.
It was right at the beginning of the listening sessions.
About timeframes.
Yeah, it's okay. Just need some help. So give me a thumbs up if you're good with reading. You read enough? See if you need a little bit more time, okay? All right. And I'm going to regroup because I didn't count well, because there's 3 here. Mary and John, I'm going to have you go to the back table. And Susie, why don't you come over here, and I'll put a little bit on this, because I think it's better that you're watching that. So why don't we do that right now? And I'll just move my location.
Right.
What's that?
And we'll have to
I just haven't seen that side.
take this off on you.
I look forward to it.
So it's right there.
Right, so.
Okay. So what we're going to do, what I'm going to ask you to do is for yourself, right? You have on the worksheet, you have a thing that says Maple Run exists to. It's gonna be some sort of verb and one subject. You can make an adjective for the subject if you'd like, but it can't be like multiple things. There's a primary purpose. What's the primary purpose that we're here to do? So why does Maple Run exist? What do we do? So I want you to think for yourself. You're going to share this around your table. So it doesn't, again, don't let the perfect get in the way of the good. Just try to think about what is our primary thing to do.
One word?
Well, one subject. You can't say like, we're here to, I'm going to be facetious, because I don't want to give words that you would do. Like, Maple Run exists to create processing chips and computers and cell phones, and you just can't, we don't want a laundry list. We want the primary thing we're here to do.
Gotcha.
The primary thing. People try to sneak it in, and then you see this vision that is 15 words long. I'm going to show you some examples of good visions. Yeah, I don't know if it's sticky or not. Doesn't look like it. They're right in the closet by the front door. We use them all the time. Right, here, I'll get it. So, how do folks have something at least? Yeah. Okay, so here's the next one. Who are on your worksheet again, who is the primary customer? Who's the primary customer of our work? Is this coming well through sound if I'm not right? Everyone have any answer? You good? I heard some chatter, so it tells me everyone has. Okay, so now talk at your table. You need to come to one purpose and one primary customer. Who do you think that is? Okay? And we're going to mute the TV so that nobody can come through the computer and be with all of you. Okay? Hopefully we don't get any feedback for you. You mute whatever you think.
Sure, we can just go around the table.
I don't know if it'll come on because it's projecting on. You can turn it on. So I'm going to give you, Susan, you'll hear more about this. We're going to use it to us.
I'll just end it. So I want to say,
Hey,
Oh, there we go.
but I guess I also wanted to be, but then I also want to serve students and families. So I guess that's
All right, do I go around the table and
Sure. Serve the students.
I have been doing this to educate.
You know, providing community.
I wrote severe families, and I mean that, I say, you know, by support, not teaching, supporting,
No, but what do you have?
annoying,
I mean, that came up a lot in ours.
I'm deaf.
You know,
One, What was that? Yes.
for pre-K to grade 4.
So we've got 2 educate and 2 support. I'm trying to go through my source to see if there's a word that basically makes it clear to encompass both.
Educate's good.
So, yeah.
One of my really cultivate.
By feeding them or educating their parents, that's why people
And then
For sure.
the subject, we had children, K through 12 students,
With the community.
community, and
Well,
so it's all the same. All the same.
purpose is for
Taking exactly one
I
subject.
just ended up going like really concrete for stuff. And so I just.
all those other
For our
things.
primary customers,
The
students.
next part, when it says, who are we around there?
Parents care for the actual.
The only one we have is the primary
I
customer.
can show you the scrap paper.
And that's where we're.
They struggle with that.
Well, I realize
For me anyways, the
when you
But it was just all me. But for me, I felt like the opportunity comes in defining what is it.
that's good for all people, even
But
if
that's,
they don't have kids.
Okay.
what?
That's quite great.
Well, we all mostly have the same
I
answers.
heard that for the customer. I don't know what they, I didn't hear the purpose, and I don't need to. So if you can take a piece of chart paper and write for this customer, and write what you were gonna say as a group, and then please, or they feel like they're.
Secondarily,
For me, just take it.
That's why I put some markers around here.
And just say students.
have one of those, you can not.
I can do it, I can do it. It's been fun.
Education.
I still have markers.
We give a marker.
Oh, okay.
Every day.
The,
Primary group.
I have good handwriting, if you want me to write it. I'm proud of
It's
you.
not easy.
you have good schools.
So what do I write?
On top, you're gonna write purpose,
What about-
and also purpose, and then we're trying to find a consensus of the statement to call it a group, or we're gonna put our three on our list of our educates. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, as far as the verb goes, we had educate, to educate, and to support.
So I feel like we could both.
Yeah, our purpose is to educate and support.
And right on there.
Does that sound good, Dylan?
Yeah, sure.
And then for the subject, we had children, community, families, K through, the subject, who were educated.
So that was the verb for purpose, and now we have the noun.
Yeah, so we had K through 12 students, families, or children, and community, so all the same ballpark, so we really just have to narrow down what encompasses
Primary purpose.
These ones for the verb,
And educate means.
and then the next part will be the.
And that's why we
You did
don't
provide.
get into those other things.
So we
All say their purpose.
Because you're good. Cities and
It
children.
sounds like we're all.
Communities, academic, children.
So when you come to consensus on your purpose,
But
We haven't done that.
I know you haven't. I said when.
We're all-
Yes, I said when, not percent.
which takes these terms is to educate and support our students and their families. Is that, are we okay
I
with
would
this?
serve, I would vote on.
What do you think, Nova?
That's my vote.
Our students and their families is good.
Okay.
We may want to qualify,
Do you want me to?
pre-K through 12 students at some point.
I bet I can.
Okay, so.
This is good enough for now.
Probably from Mike.
You have one for educate our children?
You good with that?
Sure.
Wait, what?
So we just want to write, just our primary
Students or you?
Yeah, I mean.
Are we writing our primary customers too?
Yeah, your primary customers is what it
Our
is.
primary customers, we had students, sorry, what did you have, Nelda?
Well, I have students in the community, I couldn't decide. But define the community to include students or students to include the community, I could live with that.
I put community, because I feel like we support everything. Keep it family, parents, caregivers.
How much?
There's no right or wrong answer.
Then let's-
And don't let the perfect get in the way of good.
But, it's a community, yeah.
I don't
We're
think
trying to
that's,
like, students, we're all so close, we're just trying to find like.
Yeah, you get to figure out what you say.
I don't think that's spreading the net too wide.
Because they're also good at schools, or good for
all society.
So I can invite, we can bring the agenda to
Because this is the first, we just got to there.
Okay, so we have.
This is the forum that was that whole first time.
That's all I came up with.
Great. You're just like, right on.
Well, if it was a race.
And you be the winner.
What is serious about action?
So, educator or something.
It helps. That's safe.
Communities, and then like you said, put it more.
How's your project out in Swan, one of the science one? Yes. Library.
We're done with it for the summer. I don't know where we're going. Don't be putting it a grant for next summer. So I might just do the next one again.
You're good?
Because we're having trouble with kids actually watching the games with it.
Students come up crowds. They're in the crowd.
Because people are getting,
So I saw,
bring the mask ones in, because the kids are really focusing. There's a really, I don't know if you guys have problems, because of YouTube. Called Mark Over.
that was good.
So he has a thing called.
They didn't go out until 9:30 because of the lightning.
Oh, yeah.
So they were right at that time.
But he has one app called.
So I saw James Taylor.
So you build something that
One
has
of the-
one of the next.
Last night, my guy.
It's almost like a Raspberry Pi.
Just as
Adreno,
late.
Adreno in there, and so there's code.
I go to bed.
And so the code's
Yeah.
have to make one grade. And there's a second level, a third level, saying that you can grow
Right?
there's something about the medium that stories of words. It's just nice for the kids.
No, I was just thinking.
Can you give him? He's carries it. He has his fanny pack. As long as you have.
Okay, so we're gonna do a quick share out. It's just a share, it's not a you have to change, it's just a year from each group. Alright, so I'm gonna ask the table with Jack if you could share what you wrote was the primary purpose and community. That's all we're doing. We're not doing anything more with it. We're gonna set it aside. We're just gonna share it, and then we're gonna use it as part of our mission.
So we were very basic. We just said the Maple Run exists to educate students. And we were all independently consistent. I think Jessica said youth instead of students, but we're all on the same page. When we do the purpose.
Yeah, do the primary customer as well.
So primary customers are the community, because a lot of our community do not have kids in school right now, but having good schools creates a good community. So they're our customers, and also the students and the families.
Okay, this table back here.
Yes.
Maple Run exists to educate our children,
Yeah.
and then our primary customers is the students that we put plus 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 to signify if we do right by the kids, then we're doing right by all the other groups we talked about.
Okay. Good. And this one?
All right, we're gonna throw a curveball.
Yeah.
And our purpose of Maple Run exists to educate and support our pre-K 12 to 12 students and families. And primary customers are the students in the community.
Okay.
So I sense a common theme.
Yeah, which is good. There's a common theme there, which I think we're going to see that a lot tonight because we've done so much community engagement in the board. You've all done so much work with the strategic plan and reading all this and being part of that. So I'm not surprised. That's why I didn't think this was going to be that hard of an activity. So it's good to see the commonalities. Thanks for saying that, Joe. All right, so now we're going to go into the vision work a little bit. Okay, I'm going to move to that, and John, I need your help on the. Okay, so a little bit about visions. I'm going to show you some examples and then we're going to get into some work, okay? What is a vision? what we want the organization to be. Aspects of a good vision are short, less than a Twitter statement or an X. I know it's not used very much anymore. It's kind of falling away, but that idea is really short. You'll see some up here. Easy to remember. If we want people to use, we're doing this work so it'll be used. A lot of vision and mission statements just go up on a wall and aren't used. We want this to be used and to be measurable, okay? And what we want to become. So here's some examples. Burlington has cultivating caring, creative, and courageous people. Join the journey. Barry, Vermont has a rock-solid education for a lifetime of discovery, which makes sense with all the grant there. Yeah, right? I saw that, I was like, I gotta put that up there.
Yeah.
Champlain Valley, a learning community that focuses on academic growth and belonging for all. Milton, and it says, all Milton Town School District learners are prepared to thrive, pursue their passions, and contribute dynamically to an ever-changing world. That's a little longer one, okay? But I just wanted you to see some pieces on this. Okay, so if we can go to the next one, John. Here's the process we're going to use. Individually, you're going to take that goal sheet. I don't even have one right in front of me, but the one that just has the goals and the goal statements on there. What I'd like you to do, the first two steps here are individual work. We're going to have this theme tonight. We're going to do the individual, group, and then whole. Okay, I'm using the same process for all three steps here, all right? I like to do that when I work with groups because it just makes it easier. People are like, okay, we've got the instructions. So individually, take the goal sheet and circle all the nouns on it. So take a minute. You're going to circle all the nouns, and then on the worksheet, you're going to start putting them in groups. No more than 5 groups. It would be great if it was 3. Okay, so circle all the nouns. And you don't, I'll take that as a generality if you say that's not important. No, but you want to get the important nouns that are on there. So once you've identified those nouns, now you're going to try to group them into no more than 5, but hopefully 3 groups. And this is where it takes a little bit of thinking time. Nilda, are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Okay. seems to be looking backwards.
Yeah, no,
You're good.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, yeah. If you have your groupings, what you want to do is find a word or a short statement that might address those groupings. If you haven't, don't feel like you're being, I'm not trying to push you for speed, I just see some people in different places. Okay?
Two groups, three writers, and then take those and read the sentences. Like people that keep things.
Yeah. All right. Spreadsheets or just
Either.
Sure.
All right, looks like this group has got some groupings for yourself.
Yeah.
How's this for you?
So, we do the, work on the mission first, or the vision?
We're working on the vision first.
That's what I did. I thought it was wrong.
No,
It's a work on vision.
A few more minutes. You good? Are you, how's this table going? You guys feel pretty good at least something there? Yeah. Okay, so John, if you can go back one slide. The reason I was saying the 3 to 5, look at some of these examples, okay? Burlington has caring, creative, courageous, right? Those are their like 3 big things in their vision of what they're trying to do. Courageous people. Barry didn't have anything that was like 3 or 4, they just had a solid education. But academic growth and belonging, they had 2 for Champlain Valley. If I look at Milton, they have thrive, pursue their passions, and contribute dynamically. So they have 3 things, they use some phrases. So I've seen phrases, I've seen individual words. The reason I'm starting to do this with you is try to think about, we're gonna try to come from your individual to a group at the table, like, what are the big, I really wanna push you for 3. I could be talked into up to 5. But I think, adjectives, right, you're gonna, well, we'll get the grammar right. We'll get the grammar right when we need to. Tonight's not the grammar smithing, but it's the idea of what do we want to see? What is it that we see in our future? What are we doing? What's it look like? What's that vision? Remember, it's what we want to see our organization be. And so you're looking for these groupings of what those things are. And I'll give you a hint. This board did a good job with your moral imperative. If you read that, that's on this first page of this worksheet, of the moral imperative. I'm not saying the what of it, but you'll see there's like 3 or 4 things in the moral imperative. If you look in there, it says, ensure students feel safe, a sense of belonging and safety, and we want them to learn and grow. Well, those are the big things in there. I'm not saying those are the right things. I'm just saying it didn't have a laundry list of things that we need. that the vision is. Okay? Don't hear me that those are the right things. I just wanted you to kind of see that there's like two big ideas in there for our vision. So, what I want you to do is share the words you have with each other and see as a group, can you come to 3, no more than 5, descriptors of what we're going to look like when we meet our vision. Okay? Does that sound like a task we can do? I got some head nods over there, so we're going to try to do that. All right?
You're looking for the noun now?
Yeah, you could be looking, Mildy, you could be looking for the nouns and what those groupings of those words are. So you could come to some creative, some common groupings that you would say, this is what the vision's going to look like. The nouns are what we want to see.
I had students, policies, procedures, and community.
The nouns that describe the group.
Yeah, to describe, all right, we're going to have to turn them into adjectives to make the vision work. But it's like, it's us trying to have you like, what's it going to look like? We're going to describe it.
Okay.
All right? And if that didn't help you, you can go off my process and say, this is what it's going to look like. That's it, all right?
My 4 groups of nouns that I picked are descriptive, but not something that,
The way you group yours.
not something that fits into a,
That's okay, we can come up with the words. You can come up with the words later. Get to that, what's it going to look like? This is what you're trying to do.
do you have the,
Those are mine. I felt like I read them together. And their own groups.
oh, okay, you
And I just said those before.
So that's one reader. You tell you where
It's like, you want to say.
Neil, did you have groups and names or nouns to describe each group?
Well, I have the nouns, like,
These were kind of, I mean, just
I mean, we all have the nouns,
kind of
right?
the customers, right? Yes.
You want to group words that,
So the goal is to take, break the nouns into 3 to 5 groups and then find a noun that describes each group.
Everybody grades, faculty, staff members, students,
So
individuals.
as an example, I took the school system students, all involved families, school, family, community members, and district, and I put them all, the noun I picked was groups, which is not the noun that I would want to go in a mission statement, but that's an example of what I did.
But it might be community. It might be a group.
Yeah, I mean, those groups all make up what is the
Right.
larger community.
okay, I have not done that.
I grew my words. Almost the example.
So we're looking for basically 3 to 5 nouns that describe the groupings that we have together.
But they can't be the noun that you want.
Don't make it too hard. You don't have to come up with an original noun. I'll try to some way that all these things are
Yes.
Create
Education.
good.
If, yeah,
Good.
Vision is not like the.
I don't want to come up with a
Sure, safety.
Where
Wait, you don't have to.
their success and
First one is support. equity.
So my nouns for the groups were customers, needs, and
Either, I just
policies.
didn't know another way to
I
go
don't know,
with
you
it.
could maybe
Succinct, so I did
business
that
that,
was
but I mean,
preparing, although I wrote down like challenge.
so policies is I have
Success,
tools,
so secondary
and I think policies is a better
Have a
word
district,
for what we have, what the tools that we have to use.
Procedure, the.
educational opportunities.
Customers are, you know,
As a community to meet their
yeah,
needs.
the customers are the community, and that
Enlisting
fits that.
IT system. I said.
No, that's great.
That's
Yeah.
Students to positively.
So,
So, support, individualized learning opportunities, flexible pathways, just
I have like
needs,
educational
community needs, student needs.
And I think the
students,
reason that we have
community,
rules and policies and
support
procedures
students and community that need
encourage
grades
kids to support in ways is so
We're
that
doing something, let's just take it.
the hope is they don't need that kind of support or that they don't need those kind of policies. that
So
leave us
I think flexible pathways is really important
members of society.
because it covers
That's right.
so many other things in the other
Just some big
goals
that stood out to you.
without restating it.
That they like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's this idea of
We definitely want to like, practicing uncomfortable a little bit educational. So we want to make sure that we do have.
So if we,
autonomous.
take the notes that we those words to.
Okay.
So flexible pathways.
Would be in a very small X
Community.
Twitter line.
Community, I think is.
I think more of the mission is what it is all. So that, the goals are more.
Students, obviously.
I think
But like that, I heard.
I really need learning community.
Yeah.
Those are really creating between the community.
They're all, I mean, they're
Because GEDs or ETLC programs in the school and it's a learning community, not just K-12.
Yeah, I think it feels.
I think you've got something.
I actually like that learning community.
This is, it's
Keep
not
control.
easy, this is like.
They have very creative, those are really cool ones, just like anybody wants to learn.
Yeah, I like that too. Because, yeah, you know, there's adults that learn at the tech center, it's just story and
So it's a very funny, yeah.
He has a
It's important, especially because kids come back after the order. Yeah, for like 30 years later,
So when we make a vision statement, I wouldn't say, they really to cultivate.
I don't like.
I don't like part of it, because that means we're trying.
I don't want our vision statements that read like we're trying to sell something. The exclamation point in Burlington, it sounds like they keep on the slogan.
Or bear.
But that goes with their.
Diversity, equity.
Well, yeah.
I guess so, but it
That's
could
very
also,
important.
it could also go if you wanted to work at SDI, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's their like, their goal in their city.
We can't do that. Such a sweet place to learn, never sticky here. Let us sap you. No.
I think Barry's got a sort of play on words.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's cute for that. Like, we could keep
Very worried, what are they called? I think they're going to play on
That's why it's cute for Barry, because that's what Barry does, it's a good number. So it's cute.
Right, that's what it was, so it's like, this is our local context, it's rocks, that's why they play all that.
Yeah, so that's a cute one for their community.
I mean, with
This is the part that feels.
the main towns that we've come around, not trying to like slogan it or anything, but just basically.
So what do we have?
I would just go with.
Here, he's got it. Because then I think that becomes easier once you've paired.
Which is not, pretty much is a starting.
That's a good starting place, is where the, keep the, with the brain smart.
Maple Run is
Oh,
meet the needs of our learning.
or whatever we ask.
That's a good one, just like with. That's what
But
it
an
is.
aspect is a way.
Nice.
Do you have anything you'd like to add or change in that?
You know that it seems eerily simple.
Sweet to be educated.
That's why I did some punches out. I think that's, a base to start
To
from.
be those things, right?
You want, it's like when you teach them how to write sentences, you want that small.
I mean, it works, I think it works for now.
So they can get all the
I mean,
things.
if you just think
So Maple Run.
have just the basics of that, and then
I don't know, like something where it shows, I just wrote
Hey,
down
you're
like
doing
individual.
Oh, we're talking about.
Yeah,
when you teach kids how to write sentences, you do that base sentence and then you add in and out, and I was telling Aaron, that's what I'm working on this year.
One thing I saw is
Homeschool. And so that's kind of what it's nice to have that base, small base sentence that we can manipulate or add on to without having large sentences to like then dive deeper in.
Yeah, that was like my.
That's a nice positive.
Very into the economy of one of those, one of the guidelines that I'm taking is revenue from the under second that try to cut 10%.
All the youth. Yeah, I like the idea of.
Express different ideas than
Like, fair games, but they add like shooter, like descriptive.
Stephen King has written so much of it,
coming in where everything, right? And then.
Yes, don't get me started, that's my guy.
That was my,
I've never
rephrase what you said, but
No?
this idea that kids can make all different points of view.
More than that.
Big word. It's good, whichever it's hard.
I have all of the hardcover books at my house. That's me. I went to my high school reunion and ran into this guy that I hadn't seen in 30 years. And he was so familiar to me. And I'm like, oh, hey, I remember you, Victor. What are you doing now? He's like, I work for Simon & Schuster in Brooklyn. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool. He goes, I'm a lawyer there. One of my customers is Stephen King. I was like, whoa, that's my guy. He goes, okay, well, I have a stock of his brand new book, Holly, in the office. This was in August. The book didn't come out until September. He said, I'll mail it to you. And I was like, okay, here's my address. And I forgot about it. I'm like, he's not going to send it to me. Send it to me.
I have two very good Stephen King stories, or two or three very good Stephen King stories that I got from his visit to UVM, which I will tell you at another time.
When did you go there?
Early 2000.
My favorite. And he has evolved. A lot less sci-fi, a lot more, not realistic stories. They're still gruesome, and they're still out of this world, but like short stories that finders keepers and stuff.
So yeah, we got it.
My parents let me read that when I was in probably 3rd or 4th grade. I was always a really advanced reader when I was young. I loved to read and stay home and stay inside the house. My parents let me read Pet Cemetery when I was like 8. I've read them all. So by the time I was in high school, I had already read them.
Yeah, I was here when you were trying to say something.
I think we've created that base back there. Do you want to try to plan it out for reading, or do we want to get the?
I think so, just to have a basic sentence to start with.
So I think we're at the moment done and waiting for.
I wrote a little bit different. I don't know if y'all wanted to mix it all together, but I didn't really finish it, but a learning community committed to excellence, opportunity.
Inclusion?
To me, it is.
And inclusion. That's my thing.
Administration and parents, community members. That's how I experience it.
So that's definitely a catch here.
Experience.
No, I agree with you.
So then, in case you missed that, so Susan came up with a alternate one. So we have two possibles to go with. Maple Run uses ways to there's also the other option is a learning community committed to excellence, opportunity, and inclusion.
The mission is a longer.
It's a longer one.
Yeah, that's where I created those.
There's a lot of descriptive words.
Learning community committed to excellence.
Excellence, opportunity.
I think you can use your tapping, your engaging. I guess your level learning, your community your students and your family.
So I like the second one, I don't feel
That's
like
like
that's
everyone's
enough.
like,
Yeah.
part of it.
So we're gonna start listing,
I like when I do something,
you know,
But when our customers are
conclusion.
It could be just community, because remember, family and students are
Say, after, you know, I'm not using all those words.
So.
It could be something,
Yeah.
here's something that, I've seen those, this is what I could see.
We're making the statement, right?
I think we can pick the ones that we think are most important conclusions and statements.
Just
Think about
just throw
actions
something
over
down, like
things.
you gotta start from somewhere.
What's the group of nouns that we have?
Team, I would argue that inclusion probably, like, when you start taking paths on vision,
Just trying to have you play with something.
if we're striving for inclusion, that naturally requires us to also be getting diversity and
And
equity.
maybe that's it, or maybe, you want, if communities are a big thing in there, like, so how does that support the
And then there's all.
I mean, you can
Learning
still read
approaches,
it,
learning pathways, like,
flexible pathways,
I've read too much,
excellent
that's why.
opportunities,
Yes.
opportunities and use of our learning community.
That one seems a little wordy to me.
Oh, I agree, yes.
Okay.
So our community
I
will.
think right now we're just trying to just get a statement and then
Yeah, like,
we'll.
sure, then our students
So
are-
our statements that we're gonna work in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
turn into a whole word search.
I know what you're saying, this, but that's like a long idea.
Get some
All
more.
right, worst case scenario.
Yeah, if you have our, get rid of the.
Unless everyone else is also offering to.
The more you have, the more we can
The
pull.
better, the
But-
more you
so to
can.
me,
Yeah,
right,
we
the-
can choose and take, do 3 of the pathways and 4 of the
This
pathways.
is like, that's what I'm making
Ours
sure
is-
of those.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Full policy. People run
No, I
tasks.
know, but I'm making, exactly, I'm making the jump from those, I feel like you would put a word, there's a policy here, or you should say that, like, what were the key,
Well, my son's in
policies, I was thinking,
Yes.
something about safety,
Speaking for 2 weeks.
place for people.
Next week.
I think
Training. I wish he was here.
one thing, one
He would
step
have you guys
that
all in
is that when
He's
you're
living
not
at home
asking.
now. I'm not.
Daycare
I
doesn't.
have 2 adults living with me right now. It's been tense. I had to break it down last week.
People are prioritizing.
I waited though until everything was the right,
Right, so
mood.
relative prioritize.
Everybody was happy. We're all eating well.
Yeah.
So,
Very
that one master bathroom that we have,
in place.
everybody's gotta take a turn once a week.
The thing is,
I'm
I
tired.
know, really. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
all
like
these
the
things and
pathways
it
a
was-
lot.
you gotta take
My
it,
mother,
it's our priority.
Because the swing is a little too,
And then,
Yeah.
you get the action.
Tap the local
Yeah,
word.
it's the army. It's
You're
not
right.
because- it's not because you love it.
for the sake of.
First step of draft statement going.
We have
We
two.
We have
heard
two.
Great.
Awesome. Missions that we do there.
No, I mean, that's
Yeah.
trying to, by dissertation,
Those are 2 good ones.
Your husband is a drill sergeant?
I'm doing my best not to look too much at them, or I look at them and want to start
that's
picking them,
great,
so.
I'm making.
Don't make me. That's fine. Those are great.
We understand, we understand. It's easier to understand, it's hard to check.
Army?
Reserve, you could retire this year for reserves. but you know.
Because my son is super gay,
Because
and he has 2 voices. One is for home, and one is for the army. And then when he came home from the army, he would only use the army voice. Anytime I'm like,
What's your final? Yeah.
means you're making me have anxiety. Stop yelling. He does it behind the and his little brother, and I'm like, whoa, 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 this is not Fort Hood here.
No, my husband was.
That was outside.
That'd be good too. The shorter you get, the easier.
So no, we're just waiting for the other groups to finish up.
We were so quick, I guess.
We wanna see this on a wall, we wanna see this on a t-shirt, or we wanna see it
Yeah,
like
yeah, like that one.
memorized.
too long.
Yeah, you try to use it.
And that's what-
Yeah, man.
Is he the fun one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
she was like, my little was, he gave my, so, oh, he gave
I feel like it's what, if the answer to the question is what are we all about? Are we all about the people that are part of our community? Are we all about
Writers.
learning and
my, she was talking to me all the time about,
Creating the environment, which we like.
What's the answer to that question? What are we all about?
that's what he was when he used to.
Give me no better. Learning or
Or
growth.
like on the no TV for bed,
Culture
share
or
over bed,
environment.
but not try. And like whoever was out, and I didn't want to.
I think more people would enjoy your environment.
And then
Yeah.
learning or growth.
That's the main.
Those along that, I'm not saying those are the only answers.
No, I just thought,
I think you could make something out of those three.
Short statement.
Yeah.
type of AI.
Yeah.
I bet you're the next one. And Sarah's the mean one.
Those are
She is, isn't she? I feel like her favorite chocolate.
Call Sarah B.
those are the three.
Like, she's got more of a temper than me, but like,
Everybody likes the Burlington thing, like they see something, and well, so I'm almost like, I don't hate but it would maybe like,
so sometimes I'll walk into a room and people will be like, what's the matter? Nothing.
It's just my face.
And then I'll get kicked off because people are striving against my
like, these are and like creating a space, or we welcome you to our space and learning for or something like that.
That's a joke.
He's just staring at everybody's welcome.
Oh, like, Sarah will be something like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm like, fine, I'll go make dinner. And then she'll be like, sorry. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'll go make dinner.
Yeah, you have the three things. That's the first time I've
The other night, my kids were watching the lightning. We were sitting there talking.
Yeah, learning.
In bed, and initially I walked in and was like, guys, you need to be asleep.
Yeah, you did. You're our sleep. Yours is,
Came back and.
yeah, for our what John just said right there.
Oh,
I
you're,
guess
you're
that's okay.
fine.
It's summertime.
You're fine. Just enjoy that. Sure, forget I said anything.
It is.
All that parent guilt.
I don't recall any time
I can't say that. I can't say that. You say that.
You have to talk about
my kids are also super sensitive, so if I look at them starting.
So you still with two statements?
I'm old.
We've got our
No, I think just started in 2019.
I will leave that to you.
Okay, I do have better memory.
I was on the first board.
Which is great.
I'm not really sure my wife would go there.
Push this over a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, because the other two groups have statements. So I'm gonna ask you to get something right before you. We're just trying to come up with some brainstorm, but I do want to get something done. All right, and you may hear from others and that might inspire you.
A welcome and learning for
Just been there. Like rock solid. Discovery. We don't want our coffee berry completely. It is.
just made the world
We can
first
work
Venn
with it.
diagram.
We can hear what everyone else has to say.
Right now.
I mean, actually, good.
Yes, yeah.
good for some reason. I punch you. I'm sorry.
He's been there too long.
All right, so what?
He's been working on this all day.
What up? Okay, so read me what you had, Mary.
Maple Run cultivates learning environment for all.
A lot of
I think
kids.
it's,
Just brainstorm. John's like, you're drinking coffee.
I don't know what's really wrong with that.
Yeah? Well, maybe in like 10 years, you're going to just drink coffee. Oh, I like that. Cultivating though is
He did that for the rest, like pretty much for his whole life because that. I
like that.
Instead of every hour and a half to a while,
so we're going to share each of our visions.
I have cultivating the cultivating learning environment for all.
Alright, so I'm going to ask each group to share. And I'll start with this group over here. They, the overachievers, they have two different versions.
Well, why, of course they do. Let them go
So go ahead, Charlie.
All right, we have Maple Run uses flexible pathways to meet the needs of our learning community. And we have a learning community committed to excellence, opportunity, and inclusion.
Okay. And then I know you're editing that back there, Mr. Walton, but
Oh, we're still going.
I'm going to ask you to present. Okay.
Sharper down, John.
That's great. Okay.
So we have three things to share. The first is a Venn diagram, people, environment, and the learning happening at the intersection of that, which is where we really feel strongest about. And then we have two very rough takes on verbiage, which is Maple Run cultivates a welcoming learning environment for all, and then tap into learning with us at MRUSD, a welcoming place for all.
Woo! Trademark.
And then I'll have this.
That beats Barry.
Yeah. So.
No, Jessica has ours.
All right, we have tapping into the love of learning for our students and community.
So we'll present all these. Literally, and one of the reasons to give you a month is to come back and kind of see them. We'll get them out to you early and just percolate on them and say which one do we kind of like, and we'll come to consensus. Okay. All right. So now we're going to go on to the mission. Okay? There's more. There's more.
Wait, there's more.
There's more. There's more. Okay. A mission is how do we do the work to make the vision happen? Okay. How or what? It can be a what too. Okay. And then, or what is the work to make the vision happen? Aspects of an effective mission statement are identifies the core work, reflects our primary purpose. So this is the reason why I wrote those purpose statements, okay? And is specific on who we serve. So that's why I asked, who's our primary customer? Okay? So if you can go to the next slide, John, I'll show you some examples of mission statements. This is where it gets a little longer, okay? There's this idea of Colchester School District's mission statement is to partner with the community to educate students to become productive citizens who live healthy, balanced, and successful lives, okay? This is Washington Central, which exists to nurture and inspire students the passion, creativity, and power to contribute to their local and global communities. You can see the three things coming out. Each has kind of like the three big things they're doing. South Burlington, a community committed to excellence in education to ensure each student possesses the knowledge, skills, and character to create successful and responsible lives. Can you hear who the primary customer is in each of these? Like you can kind of hear who's getting the work is with. Champlain Valley School District's mission statement is to develop citizens who learn, think, thrive, contribute, and pursue excellence. There's almost 5 things there, all right? And then through inclusion and reflective practices, the Milton School District empowers all members to be resilient, passionate learners who are engaged in locally and globally, okay? So there's a lot of descriptors there. So what I'm gonna have, this is almost similar to what you just did, okay? But now you're gonna go through and underline the areas, and it might be a verb or it might be a noun of what's the work that we're going to do, or descriptors of the students. And you're gonna try to make the same idea. You're gonna try to make 3 to 5 pieces that say what we're gonna do. This is gonna almost sound like we're listing off the goals work, all right? This is getting, remember the triangle diagram? We go from vision to mission to goals. So this is gonna get closer to those goals areas, okay? It may be, and I'll say, with one of our goals has a lot to do with policies. I'm not sure that that's, my bias would be, I'm not sure that that's really one of our mission to create policies, but it may be that there's something with safety. And I heard this group over here having that discussion, so I'm still on it.
And consistency.
And consistency, yeah. So, John, if you can go to the next one, just which has the instructions up here. John, can I have you go to the next slide? There, you did it.
He's right.
That's it, I did it.
A little delay.
Delay,
Okay.
Sometimes I also miss it, but I blame it on.
Okay. You've already said who your primary customers are. You came to consensus on that. So individually take the goal sheet and underline the descriptive words or for our work. They may be verbs or nouns. What do we want our customers to become? What do we want to be? What's the work we're doing? I probably should have said what's the work we're doing. Okay. And you're going to group those again. So you may not need to do the physical work of it. I can see 3 or 5 big pieces of work, either words or phrases. That's what you're trying to get to. And I need to say that second should say, what's the work, not what our customers want to be. I see you reading it again. Or at least I just want to make sure I what's the work? What are we doing? Thank you, John. Your examples are better than my instructions. They might put their purpose first for those 5 things. But one of these examples is going to show that it can be, you don't have to go with my structure as much as it's the idea. You've got the different things that are going to do.
I feel like the blanket picture is nice because then it's easier to manipulate.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you
So,
know where everything's at.
yeah. So I just wanted to kind of give something there, but like you'll see this one starts with the structure, but they put their customer first before their things are going to be. So once you get your 3 or 5 things that you all agree on, then you can start planning out the structure.
Just leave it 3 or 5 things.
Yes. So you don't have to go with my structure. I did this just to try to give you one, but there's a way to start. But if you notice something, the structure first. They might have put their purpose first before they said this is the 4 or 5 things that are descriptors. So they played around with it. So now you're not a place for us to have to go exact. I just gave you the structure to use so you can or identify your purpose of your customers. Yes. Don't you all it too? Yeah, yeah.
Use that of your 3 or 5.
I was just saying.
I have my
They all those are there. They reworded this structure somewhere. Purpose is.
Yeah, I've got mine.
Groups.
I have my one little group, but I have my
Draft statement was not to the best.
educate, empower, and inspire, but I don't know if I like inspire that much for it.
I like inspire, as talks education. Mostly because
It's
you
okay.
can't inspire kids and they're not good.
Right, exactly. That's why it kind of came to me.
Hilda, do you have your groups?
3 or 5 words.
I have my words,
Okay. What are your words?
challenge, supportive, respectful, engage safely, and skill building.
So adding group words into challenging, excel, strengths.
Did I do that wrong?
No.
To me, that was really
Nope.
where, that was about the learning needs.
I grouped mine into structured, aspirations, and inclusive.
And then.
Maple Run, support,
I did support, educate, safety, diversity, and strength.
And so
What was your last one?
Maple is committed to
That's the idea, just
welcoming and supporting all.
So I wrote,
where they are,
challenge
all they are, which I
students
think is actually,
with,
that's a concept that.
vigorous
Academics
in a
It's a
diverse
lot of
and
interest
safe
I had a
environment.
double seven,
So,
think double.
welcoming, supporting all, where they are, how they are.
We have some words.
Creating
Strong
culture,
community.
care, and acceptance, so all students.
I might have missed 1 or 2 of Nakuma's,
I can tell.
because you're a quick talker.
Cut it in half.
You said
No, but I
inclusive,
think
no, the safety, strength, and
Diversity, educates, and supports.
I like that challenge, support, and engage. Love that.
Support, educates, safety, diversity, strength.
High expectations.
Diversity. I just pulled some numbers.
Never mind.
I like that.
We saw the speaker, I forget his first name, Principal Michaeli.
Yeah.
So he had this, has this concept of like, you can't know yourself welcoming unless you get that. I'm taking it right now, right here, as you are, how you are.
So I think, I don't know how you would in that,
Let's do something good
for
together.
meeting individual needs.
So that's a concept that is like integrated itself. And
So it's probably put a meeting there.
he's got a couple good.
Turn into this whole.
Sorry, what did you have, Hilda?
He does speech on it.
challenge, supportive, respectful, engage safely, skill building.
All our students and the community that.
They're just the words are long, come up with them.
I'm just writing down every thing so that you try to. A lot of these can be linked together and then condensed.
I did Maple Run and share meaningful, flexible,
So-
education for all.
Did you crack the,
Safe, meaningful.
Ensure
They talk
meaningful,
about
flexible,
Like your idea for
education.
or like that.
Right.
I wish I had the little map.
I understand what we're with you.
All right, so let's try to split challenge. I guess just find like.
I know, but it exists up here.
whatever it is.
Support us.
And that's how.
Like that. I read that purpose too.
Right, so you can look at these words, okay, what would be in a
Like no word.
Mine's pretty much the same. Maple Run will challenge individuals to excel in a supportive environment for all of us.
I think that when we think about this and I read through the work that came out of the community engagement, the strategic plan, I think this idea, it doesn't need to be this work, but like you said, rigor.
Looking at all the ones that, like we have, support and
I think that's a
supportive,
really powerful concept.
that show us engage safely and safety of show up.
It's meaningful.
Right.
It's meaningful for any person, each individual person. But I 1,000% support that. Meaningful for them. It's meaningful for them. Excited about the problem. You know, job shadowing.
Yeah.
So
So now it's just getting
Might be
into
life skills.
we want to adjust our support, engage our staff to excel.
So it's meaningful, it's academic, it's that person, help them get to wherever they are, to the next level, right? Wherever that entry point, the next level can be.
Yeah, yeah, so I think it used to everybody's for me, so.
Me too.
I like some of the structure that's right now,
I don't
To
go
like-
to rigor, but I can see how it does
on
also.
like piece it around how it sounds better.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, it does.
Exactly, just be kind. Constantly listen down to what.
What's next?
We're gonna boil this down to
Yeah,
right on
we did a consensus stage.
Oh, nice.
Alright, so it sounds like if we take yours and then we just move from there, because I feel like everyone's basically the same.
Let's
I keep thinking
the first word.
things that
Is
go
everybody
beyond
on board,
like-
meaningful, flexible, and safe?
Because I've been through
I don't know
the
about
procedure,
maybe.
many districts and schools. And you know,
If we don't have.
often
3 to 5 words
So it's funny,
pull
'cause
from here.
to me, like something
It's 3 to 5 words from here.
you know, that's what I'm saying.
So I think we should find the 3 to 5 words from here, just put them in here, kind of like fill this in, and then move it around.
Yeah.
Kind of like an equation, you know what I mean? Set it up. and then
That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
So,
Find those who would do
It's kind of nice.
I like what you're starting there. And see where that's going.
something.
I'm thinking.
It's more complicated.
Right.
States
About support.
It's about.
We've already done that in the goals. We're kind of working backwards.
Making it accessible.
Because we've already, you know, how do you just thinking of things that are like the rigors that we have.
Meaningful learning environment.
Right.
So we don't necessarily need that in emissions, even though I started to put it, you know.
So our school sides are.
Have students reach
Ensure
their
meaningful, flexible, safe education for all students to thrive.
So I think
Narrative.
Challenge,
Yeah.
The challenge keeps going because I'm going through.
support.
So
I kind of like,
I like it. Inspired and witness and Charlie, aspirational.
I think that we need to hire two,
Maple Run will challenge, support, and engage our students.
I very much like five.
Oh, yes.
Although I think empower, inspire.
Empower, challenge.
I would say empower, inspire is like your students to empower, they
I'm
have.
gonna give you like
Yeah.
3 minutes to come to a phrase. I'm gonna push you all.
Challenge, empower.
I'm gonna give you like 3 minutes to come to a phrase. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Support.
Support, I like support and
Okay,
supportive.
so that gives us three, so everyone will figure out this is support.
I think we can put rigor over here if you want to figure out wordsmith that later. It's actually the same way.
Everyone will support, challenge, and empower.
I have a learning community for primary customer.
Everyone will support, challenge, and empower.
Maple Run will ensure a meaningful, flexible, safe
Our
education for all to thrive. I just have,
Who do you think of primary purpose?
Well, that's, so,
no, for the last
supporting
division.
and challenging and empowering.
I chose lifelong learning.
Yeah.
read my first.
Choose lifelong learners.
Be tap the local learners. Tap the
I have
local
like for
learners.
Yeah, that's like sitting in my head, so a lot of the programs are crazy right now. Meaningful terms about creating.
In a safe and diverse environment, supporting.
So I have Maple Run will strive to challenge learners in an environment that supports, empowers, and fosters inclusion, safety, and success for the future.
Diverse environment, supporting.
That should work.
Supporting government.
So I think, yeah, I think social impact.
Did you have as a primary purpose part of that?
Is actually, I like that terminology. Where I think that's.
Safe learners would be the primary.
Inclusion encompasses a lot of concepts that are there.
Just as better than-
I do like using the
Ensure to be
Maple Run will strive, challenge, and inspire.
Diverse and safe environment
that
that
is
should
also
to support response.
but ensure is we're
Maple
going
Run
to
will strive, challenge,
that's
our
that's happening.
environment that supports, empowers, and fosters inclusion, safety, and
Yeah, no, I
success.
feel like I'm getting some vision.
And that's
That's
really
really
good.
good. That's a really good start. So that-
Yeah.
That's really the first thing. So the one thing I'm struggling with is if.
Nola, do you like that?
Something that will pop out in my mind.
What was that?
Yes, sir, I do.
It's,
Oh, that's a good school system. It's better than
you want to write that down?
Sure. Messenger. Right way, when the test scores are up.
We're all part of the same
Meaningful,
community.
flexible, rigorous, safe. Education.
This is where test scores is due to say, exactly the same.
Oh, really?
And,
Safe or supportive environment.
that was the Council Bachelor, Jim Joshua was the part of it. So, he used to send you, because BFA didn't have to publish their test scores. Because they were an independent school acting as public. That was a tech board.
Measure
Not me.
Thank you.
You know, like, kids aren't any different than all that.
Ensuring.
As my mother would say, we all put our pants on the same way.
You are doing that.
Yeah.
Not for that.
Yeah.
Not because of that. That just inspired me to tell you.
Yeah,
actually follows that.
everything goes through it.
I knew you like my brain. Right. Now we're thinking about, it's so nice. So, okay, so what's your, I was worried I wasn't gonna like it, so you do 2 screens.
Throwing it down.
One big one.
That's all I'm asking right now.
There
Gotta
it
get
is.
stuff.
Have you been waiting for our
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, you already?
Yeah.
First, I want to thank all of you for your, when I pushed this in a half hour longer than we had allotted for. We think it's going to be an hour, but you're doing really good work. It's not easy work. It's like, how do we say something specific in a short way that can capture all? It's not an easy thing to do. Remember, you're going to have time between now and August 21st to look at these. We'll get them out to you and kind of play with them. And we'll be able to come back to these in August and say, okay, what do we like? What don't we like? I'd like to come down to 2 for each. And then be able to go out to the community with some sort of electronic feedback system, not a gathering of listening sessions, to see what people think. Okay? So those are really our next steps. I'm going to have each of you read yours and kind of give it some time for Carla to write. So, well, John, I don't think we start first for the best group back here, so we'll start first this time.
First of all, he never gives me time to write. He always rushes me.
That's right.
So we have Maple Run will ensure a meaningful, rigorous, flexible, and safe education for all to thrive. Okay.
Yay! Nice.
Charlotte's our spokesperson.
Yeah.
We've got Maple Run will strive to challenge our learning community in an environment that supports, empowers, and fosters inclusion, safety, and success for the future.
That's what we wanted to say.
That's exactly what we wrote.
Go ahead.
Ours is a little wordy. Maple Run will challenge, support, and engage our students in a safe and diverse environment to excel academically, create citizenship, to support a strong community. Is that too much?
So I want to say I hear the same themes in all groups. So you got, that's the big thing right now, so you get onto the same themes. We'll get someone who's a real wordsmithing master, which is not me, to really kind of work with these, but I want you to think about it, percolate over the next, between now and August 21st, next time we come back together. And then we said September is the time we're going to put it out to the community and get some feedback, all right? So first of all, I'm going to give you a round of applause. That's not easy work, and sometimes this takes multiple meetings with committees, so you did that pretty quickly. And it was aspirational just to get it done tonight, so thank you for that. Nilda, I think we're at that point. John can turn off the projection of the, we can go back to regular meeting mode and get us going.
Hey, thank you. That was fun. Good exercise, too. Anybody hear me?
Yes, we had an echo going.
3 times over.
So you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we're up to old business number 7A. Plan for meeting board goals. That's sort of been an ongoing thing. the last time, we talked about it. Are there any reflections on that? We talked about, taking those sheets that were shared with us, and when we go to an event at the school, we can fill out one of those forms, and basically we're auditing our own process that way, and being able to have, evidence that we have observed ourselves, that stuff is, happening the way we expect. And then, do we have any reflections on that? Anybody have any comments related to that?
I think Joanne, I'm just gonna help, or maybe Charlie can help with the room, just because we're in a different setup, so I think Joanna does.
So I like that idea. Nilda, I hope that we can, maybe quarterly, however we want to do that, kind of look at the areas that we have been able to collect feedback from, and then just be mindful and aware of the areas that we haven't yet, right? Because we could all do it kind of for the same area and then forget others. So if we could just be aware of that and then seek opportunities to gather information or evidence for the others, as we move through the school year. Does that make sense?
Right. That's a great idea, yeah. And we can, as we report back at each meeting, as those of us that have gone to events, report back at each meeting, we can keep a running tally and see if we're missing any, either, any of the schools or any specific type of program.
Excellent.
Too, so that we can cover everything. That's great. Okay. Item 7B is the process for board, pardon me, board information request. I'm sorry, that's why I'm not there at first and I can't stop talking. What we're looking at is coming up with a procedure, not a policy, but a procedure where a board member is requesting some information from the school that they can go through a process that's the same for everyone, and then the response comes back to every member of the board. Therefore, there won't be some information that's requested by more board member A that they're the only ones that know that answer. And I think the thing, and Bill's gonna talk us through a process, but I think what we need to remember as we go through this is that this is for board information. There's also going to be times when community members ask us for information. And my answer has always been to redirect them to the central office and the superintendent, because I may not know the answer, or I may not want to make a mistake on the answer even though I may know the answer. And if it comes directly from the superintendent, we can certainly make sure that he copies us on our response or forwards the response to us, so we know what's going out to our community when they ask for stuff. So with that lead-in, Bill, could you take us to the process?
Yeah. This is the process we kind of talked about last week. It looks long because it's got the process procedure in it, but it's really pretty simple steps. It's the request is sent to the board chair and vice chair, and just be as specific as possible about what you're looking for information. The board chair and vice chair would email back saying, hey, we've got this. They're going to talk to me about, kind of give me a timetable, like how quickly can we respond with the information. Then the board secretary, for all of you, I'm just going to use a name, which is Aaron, that he holds the position of board secretary. So he's just logging this. That's what the next step is he's keeping track of the information and puts it together for you. That's what that's the actual part of the board, that's what he does. And then we distribute it to everyone via email, and at the same time it's put on the agenda for the next meeting. So at the next public meeting, there's a public record of the questions that were asked and the information that was asked for and what's the information. So that's really all this is. there's a lot of words to really say that, and then during the meeting, if it's, the reason it's an agenda item is if you wanna talk about it or discuss it as a board, it's on the agenda, so you can. It's that simple, pretty much, and then keeping track of all the information requests.
Bill, I think one of the things that's key, I think, Bill, I interrupted somewhere, is that, when the question comes forward, that it's very specific. Because sometimes questions are brought up and they have a different meaning for different people, you know, like what do they really want?
Yep.
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
We had talked before about some of that initial demographic information that all school board members should receive.
Yep.
When,
So we usually do that September.
okay,
After the first day of school, we've done that the past 3 years, is the first September report.
okay. Cool.
Yeah.
And then when we get some of that information, could some of that also become available on the website?
Yes, we
Just
could,
that low-hanging fruit
Yeah.
information that everybody should have access to, and which would eliminate.
I think it would help.
A lot of questions.
I'm gonna look at Erin a little bit since she's here with us. Erin's doing a lot of that website management, so I think it's giving us the information you think might be good, and Erin can help us post that stuff out there. Because it was like the person that came at the last meeting had some really good questions. I talked to them afterwards, and it's like it was hard to find that information.
Yeah.
But, and I said, well, here it is, and it actually gave him some answers to what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So, knowing that, and that perspective from you as a board, like if you put this up here, people probably won't have as many questions. Glad to share it. And so, we'd love to know those type of things.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? No other questions?
I do like the idea at the next meeting, because I think it's a really good idea. Sometimes it's discussions coming up, and I really like that idea of somebody asking a question and having a discussion, because it may be a question one of us has and just wasn't forethought.
Yep.
So I do like that like, ending aspect of the cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that the board action should be to adopt this process. Does that work for everyone? Okay, I need a motion to adopt the board information request process as identified in the.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
thanks, Jack. Is there a second?
Second.
Amanda.
Thank you. Ready for discussion?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, ready for vote? Okay, Jessica,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Joanna,
Yes.
Harley,
Yes.
Suzanne,
Yes.
Nakuma,
Yes.
Jack,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
and Zelda says yes, so motion carries to adopt that process. Excuse me, the next item on the agenda is the update on the central office, and at this point, I'm gonna turn the meeting over to Charlie so I can not talk through the whole thing. Thank you.
All right. Now, I missed the beginning. Did we move 7C
So-
to?
We want to, yeah, what this is I want to talk to you about the possible, we talked about relocation of the central office, Charlie.
Yeah.
So there's real estate discussion, which under BSA, I'm gonna forget the statute, but under the executive session rules, because it's possible dealing with real estate transaction, we can do an executive session. And I would suggest that if we prematurely had, so you need a motion to have a finding. Because we're gonna talk about possible real estate transactions.
All right, so I'm going to move to, motion to move item 7C into executive session per VSA 313A2, the negotiation of securing of real estate purchase or lease options. Does anyone second that?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, and so now we'll vote to determine whether we're moving that into executive session. Jessica?
Yes.
Charlie's a yes. Joanna?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Nakua?
Yes.
Marianne?
Yep.
Amanda?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
And Yilda?
Yes.
And did I miss anyone? Okay.
Yeah.
So we can now,
We'll do that. at the end.
we'll move that to the end,
Yeah.
and we'll pick that up in executive session. Which brings us to new business, item 8A, the shift differential complex side letter in our packets. And I'm looking for a motion to extend the date of this shift differential complex side letter until June 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Second, and do we have any discussion on that? No discussion, so I'll go ahead and I'll run the vote. Jessica?
Yes.
Charlie's a yes. Joanna?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Nakuma?
Yes.
Marianne?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Nilda?
Yes.
All right, so that passes unanimously. Item 8B, BFA Chromebook purchase. Looking for a motion to award the BFA Chromebook purchase to CDW in the amount of $61,200.
I'll make that.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I just want to say, Brianne's not here tonight, she's on vacation this week, but this is similar to other Chromebook purchases that we've done, and then it's just their recommended low bidder from Martin's on vacation as well, so.
And they've already worked with them, they have success. So
Yeah, we've used it,
Great.
yeah, we use CDW. You've approved many CDW,
Great.
and they're the low bidder, so, yeah. Thank you, sorry.
Any other questions or discussion?
No.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and vote on that. This is to approve the bid. Yes, that's exactly what I said. Jessica?
Yes.
Charlie's a yes. Joanna?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Nakuma?
Yes.
Marianne?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
And Nilda?
Yes.
All right, and so that item passes as well. Moving on to other business, we have the attachments 8A, the warrants. Looking for a motion to approve the warrants, acknowledging that passage of this motion will act as authorization and signature for any individual board members participating remotely.
I'll make that.
Okay. Do we have a
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the warrants? No. Then moving on to the vote. Jessica?
Yes.
Charlie's a yes. Joanna?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Nakua?
Yes.
Marianne?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Nilda?
Yes.
All right, and so that takes care of our warrants. Item 9B is the superintendent report.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's been a nice July. We've been having some success with hiring, and we've been, it's been kind of quiet. That's why I say it's been a nice July. I shouldn't say it. Yeah, I know, you all knock on wood. But I asked Becky to join us tonight to give you a hiring update. Every year we've been more anxious about hiring every year, and this year we're less, so I wanted her to give you a hiring update at this point. I think things are going pretty well, but go for it, Becky.
Okay. So we're working through several avenues in our recruiting efforts. We are leveraging School Spring, which feeds Indeed. We're utilizing our internal postings. We're hiring students when and where appropriate. I think our K-8 schools are hiring high school students for custodial work, and they are doing a phenomenal job. We're leveraging Front Porch Forum for St. Albans, Highgate, Swanton, Georgia, Fairfield, as many surrounding areas that make sense as possible. social media campaigns. Erin's been doing an amazing job. She's been working with Joanne, both highlighting specific available roles as well as an umbrella of we're hiring. We're looking at utilizing the state of Vermont's job site. That is a pay-for service, so we're really exploring that. We're also looking at a collaboration with Working Fields, which is a staffing agency that provides a peer support model born from the experience of the founder in recovery, incarceration, and socially responsible business. They work with motivated job seekers to fill entry-level positions and up for employers throughout Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Maine. They've worked successfully with the Burlington School District, and job seekers receive ongoing support through peer coaching, strong account management, and just really consistent check-ins. We work closely with communication organizations to provide resources to those job seekers and referrals. Their tagline is they believe everyone deserves a chance. I fully support this. I want to look at how we can work with this successfully while maintaining the parameters of safety for our students and our staff. So we have a follow-up meeting on Thursday. We meet HR to really fully look at two roles that we seem to be struggling to recruit and retain: paraprofessionals and custodians. We're not the only school district that is struggling with that, but we see it because it's here with us. As of July 15th, we are currently searching for 10 professional positions to fill, 18 of the ESP, educational support professionals, 18 of those, 4 non-union and 1 posted casual. So we're at 33 compared to last year. We're in a better place. I want to say last year we were about 42 or 45. I can confirm that for you, but we're in a really good place. One thing I also want to highlight is, as a reminder, we received 97% of our contracts back executed. So keep that number in mind. Of that 3% who did not return contracts, it was a large number, 13 of that were retirees. So I think we're in a really good, strong place from a recruiting, onboarding perspective, truly. Any questions?
In terms of sort of the hiring scene, are the number of applications that we're receiving in line with what we were getting last year, or is there movement up or down?
Much higher than last year, or specifically around our professional staff, our teaching staff, our nursing. We don't have a nursing opening right now, but that's part of our professional staff. It's much higher, especially once our budget was passed, right? When our budget passed and other school districts around us weren't passing budgets, we saw such a nice uptick for us in the applications we received.
How to ask this question?
Just asking.
No. I had asked, I think the last meeting, something along the lines of information on people that were not returning, professional staff members who were not returning. And, kind of reasons why. I guess, so I know that there were some professional staff that were fairly green, right? Who did not return. And so my question, I guess, is around the support that we're able to provide, the supervision that we're able to provide. And is that an issue for greener people? you know, bringing on your people, and, you know, how can we work on remedying that, I guess?
It's a good question. You know, one of the things I ask if I hear that there's someone who's struggling or someone might not be returning, if it's within the 2 years of their career, who's your mentor?
Yeah.
And who is your department head? And are they visible to you? And I'm hearing varying degrees of yes. I've had in some of my exit interviews where I've had an opportunity to talk to the individual, I'm moving closer to be with family. This isn't what I thought it was. I heard that clear from someone, and I think that I want to go back to what did their education prepare them for, as well as what we prepared them for. What's our consistency, to your point, what's our consistency around supporting that newer educator?
Yeah, and yes, my question would go back to what can we do as a board to support newer staff members so they can be more successful?
We have, in August, we have a new staff orientation that HR has been doing, I understand, the last several years of bringing them in and getting to know the nuts and bolts of Maple Run from an HR perspective. And then they have ongoing training through that whole week. So they're getting their feet underneath them in a nice, very prepared way.
Right, and then, you know, they're on the ground with a classroom of opinionated, you know, youth. And so I'm just wondering if there's anything that the administrative team could be thinking about. Is there a way that we could do something different to help that process be different for people? So they felt more supported and they were more successful.
So I think if the board wanted to, we could have, because I know Becky touched on it, and John's got part of this role, they're actually sitting right next together, and we could get into a long discussion, but they can come back and give you a presentation of induction and our update that we announced to all the staff this past year of our supervision and evaluation system, along with what's happening in our mentoring system. So if that's something the board would like as a group, we could put that into one of the reports section, and I just would want to give them some time to come back with a thoughtful presentation.
Absolutely. Bless you. My question wasn't about criticism or...
No.
It was really about, like, what's missing?
Right.
Yeah.
How can we, you know, and is it, who's allowed to do what?
Yeah.
Can we change that, you know, so it's spread upon more people to be able, like, that's...
I didn't hear it as criticism.
Okay.
I think it's a way to shift the conversation and say, let's tell you, because
It's
there's been a lot. Let's tell you the update, and we can tell you the things we can't do because we don't have.
Yeah.
There are, like, I would say right now, I wish we have a mentoring system. I will admit, could it be stronger? Yes, and that's no reflection on any one person.
Yeah.
Any mentor, but could it be stronger? Yes, it could. You know, it's just been which nugget do we pick first? So it's easy to identify where are the areas where we can improve, and then the board can say, well, so how do we help you? You know, what do you need from a policy or a resources place to help make that happen?
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
That's what I hear you asking, John.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I think it's a concern of, we know if we don't keep them in the profession in the first 3 to 5 years, they're out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's my report, Charlotte.
Any other questions or comments? Going on to item 9C, board announcements. Does anyone have any board announcements from so far this summer? Not seeing anything. Go to 9D, board reflections, which we kind of already did. Does anyone have anything to add? No. Then item 10 is agenda for future meetings. We have down cell phone usage in springtime and class size policy, which
We'll add something about supports for new staff.
yeah. So those are to be added to future agenda.
Yes.
Which brings us to the executive session. We're going to revisit item 7C. So I'm going to motion to enter into executive session to discuss item C, update on central office space in middle school alternative program. It's 8:03 p.m. Per 1 VSA section 313A2. Can I get a second for that?
Second.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and enter a vote to enter executive session. Jessica?
Yes.
Charlie's a yes. Joanna?
Yes.
Carly?
Yes.
Suzanne?
Yes.
Nakura?
Yes.
Marianne?
Yes.
Amanda?
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Nova?
Yes.
Okay, so it is 8:03 p.m. and we are in executive session.
So if you want to throw